So this is for PUBG update 38.1. This is the DMR rebalance. This is the store update with the new skins. This is going to be the patch notes, the Skibbity collaborations, the map service changes, all that stuff. All right. So we'll dive in first to the DMR rebalance. Let's go ahead and move this over a little bit. Weapon usage rates. Now this update was posted October 13th. So if you already read this, it's October 14th. You might already beat me to it, but I'm just catching up. Here we go. DMR rebalance after the DMR nerf based on the data from July 2025 and comparing metrics to August 2025. So they're just comparing 1 month to 1 month for the update, okay? And so just a TLDR, if you don't remember, for the DMRs, they nerfed the rate of fire and they nerfed the damage for pretty much every DMR, okay? There's a couple exceptions, but that's high level overview. Big nerf to DMRs. And let me just start by saying too, before we go to the data, I still do think, and this is a hot take, I understand it's not the popular opinion, I still actually think the DMR nerf was a good thing. I don't agree with how they nerfed the DMRs. I think I've explained that ad nauseum, but I do think that rebalancing the DMRs was a good thing. Making the sniper rifles a little bit stronger was a good thing, but I think they could have done it, could have gone about it in a different way. But you know, I don't have control over that, right? So anyways, weapon usage rates. This is for normal matches, not including ranked, okay? So before the update, before they nerfed the DMRs, 16.3% usage rates. After they nerfed the DMRs, 10.5% usage rate. So 6% usage rate drop. Ironically, ARs dropped also 2%. Sniper rifles only went up 3% from 13 to 16. And SMGs only went up 3% from 17 to 20. So definitely you can see a drop, but it wasn't like a big swing one way or the other in terms of another weapon picking up a big usage. When you go to ranked, however, ranked shows that it's a 7% DMR drop-off rate, a 3% AR drop-off rate, a 3% sniper rifle increase, but a 7% SMG pickup rate increase. This, I think, is the big teller here. And I know obviously this whole graph is about DMRs, but all of you know the SMG buffs have been kind of running rampant, right? That's something that a lot of us have been very vocal about to PUBG and just in general. The SMG buff is bad. It needs to be fixed. The good news is they are nerfing SMGs with this update, 38.1. So I'll go over more details on that. Stick around for that. But so this was pretty telling that, you know, there was a 7% DMR usage drop off in ranked. There was a 6% DMR usage drop off in normal. So pretty even for normals to ranked. But for normals, there was a 3% increase in SMG usage versus in ranked 9.8 to 16%, a 7% increase in SMG. And what that tells you is that the people who play ranked really know the game well. They know the meta, they know what's good to use, and they clearly see the SMGs are just really strong. So hopefully this is going to be toned down a bit after the nerf, and we'll discuss more details on that, okay? Let's see. Weapon power graphs. Okay, so this is an interesting one here. This is kill ratio per minute for the weapons, and it's based over time. So over the course of a match of PUBG, that's what this bottom graph is here. This x-axis is your time, and the y-axis is your percentage used for the graph or for the weapon. And what's interesting to note here is look at from DMRs. So before the update, they highlight these two key points right here. This is about minute 12, and this is about minute 22. So this is what PUBG considers the mid to late game phase right here, like minute 22. This is where more of the long range combats would take place, which is where you would typically see higher usage in your DMRs because that's your longer range engagements, okay? So before the update, it was 27% usage in DMR, kill ratio per minute. After the update, you have about a 9%, or sorry, 8%, I guess in between 8 and 9, depending on how you slice it, 8 and 9% drop in DMR usage rate. and then about a 5% increase in sniper rifle rate. But what I thought was kind of ironic, what they didn't really point out, was that for ARs, it was a 3% usage drop, and the SMG number is not included in here. But you can see just by kind of ballparking it, the SMG usage rate almost doubles. So for the early game, SMGs increased because they didn't show the percentage here, but the SMGs increased, and then the SMGs stayed high all the way through, and then it kind of even gets a little bigger towards the end. So that just again goes towards that the SMGs needed a nerf really bad. They have been really bad for a while now. Hopefully this update helps curtail that. It's not going to fix it, spoiler alert, but hopefully it's in that direction. Okay, so here they just point out DMRs went from 26.9 to 18, snipers went from 12.7 to 17.6. Also important just to remember, this is just for 1 month, and it's going to be kind of hard to trend this properly after 1 month, because a lot of the times if you're looking at a new update, people are eager to try the new thing just because it's the new fresh thing. But if you give it enough time, they eventually kind of go back to their, to their ways, to what they're used to or comfortable with or whatever. And so you could see maybe next month, if they showed us the same graph, you might see DMRs naturally increase the percentage pickup rate or usage once people get more used to the DMR nerf. Just a thought. All right, weapon power graph. This one is damage ratio per minute. This one I always thought was not odd, because obviously damage per second is one of the strongest metrics to look at in PUBG, but a lot of people are very fixated on their damage numbers after a game. Even like my friends that I play with, a lot of them will harp on that. They'll go, man, I had freaking 800 damage but only 5 kills, or had 1200 damage but only 8 kills or whatever. And I understand that means that you are hitting your shots, right? That you're hitting a lot of bullets and you're just not getting the kills you think you should get for that. But I kind of go back to what I said in the very beginning of this, is that I actually do think the DMR nerf rebalance is a good thing. I don't think they did it the right way, but I do think that you should have to try and hit your headshots a bit more with the DMRs to be rewarded for them, because that's what you have to do for a sniper rifle, right? To really get the most out of it. If you hit a chest shot or whatever, it's you're going to take 2 or 3 shots. With a DMR, now if you hit chest shots, it's going to take 3 or 4 shots, sometimes more if you have a Mini 14, if you're really far away, if they have level 3 gear, etc. So I understand why people are very frustrated with it. I get it, and like I know that my opinion on that is I'm definitely in the minority, but I that's the way I look at it. And then when I look at the damage ratio per minute, it's a sharp drop off. You had almost 40% damage per minute with the DMR, down to 29% damage per minute with the DMR, and then 19.8 up to 27. So you have what, an 8% increase and a 10% decrease here, and then a pretty flat line, like it's a small decrease for ARs. And again, they don't show the numbers for SMG, but just using my good old eyeball math, it looks like it's about, I wouldn't say 100% increase, but maybe, I don't know, 50%, 70% increase in the damage ratio per minute. So again, I'm glad the SMGs are getting nerfed. It's very obvious that they should have been. We'll see. What else? Engagement patterns and TTK. Let's see what they have to say to this. In addition to the key changes mentioned above, we also observed several other shifts, one of them being the engagement distance. After the DMR rebalance, we observed the average engagement distance, which has been steadily increasing since 2023, dropped from 59 meters to 55 meters. The average engagement distance for DMRs, however, only decreased slightly. This overall reduction in engagement range should suggest that the meta has shifted from long-range standoffs towards closer, more aggressive engagements. Okay, let me finish reading before I give my opinion. Another notable change is the TTK, the time to kill. The TTK has been gradually increasing up until the update 37.1, but it began to decrease following the DMR rebalance. The TTK for DMRs increased sharply, so it takes longer to kill with DMRs, which is the point of the nerf. This can be considered a natural result of the weapon's reduced effectiveness, since one of the main goals of the DMR rebalance was to lessen its dominance and make quick 2-tap kills much less feasible. The increase in DMR TTK aligns with our intended design direction. So this is what they intended. They want the DMRs to not be used less, but to be less efficient at killing you quickly. Again, you got to think high level. PUBG is trying to make the game easier. Whether you agree or disagree with what they're doing or even why they're doing it, that's what they're doing. At the high level, they're making the decisions to try and make the game easier for new players. Hence, easy to use SMGs, hence nerfed DMRs, which really good players could, destroy you with a 2-tap or a 3-tap DMR kill with a Mini 14 or whatever your favorite DMR was. So this is why they're doing those things. Now, let me just give my quick opinion on the engagement pattern. Number one, I look at data a lot for work. 59 to 55 meters to me doesn't seem like a sharp or a big drop. You're talking 4.3 meters. So I mean, what's that? Less than 10% engagement distance. To me, that doesn't seem like it's a big thing. If you ask me, 59 to 55 meters. Like if I took a character and I put him 59 meters, and then I took that character away and then I put him at 55 meters, you probably couldn't tell me which one was further or closer, because 5 meters is, or 4 meters in this case, it just isn't that big. And also what I'll say is, I think you can't look at just this one thing in a silo. You can't get like pigeonholed into, oh, well, we did a DMR rebalance, so we're going to look at all the stats with a lens of DMR rebalance. You have to also consider that everyone is catching on to the SMG meta, right? Everyone was learning like, oh yeah, it just makes no sense for me not to use an SMG. And since I'm going to use an SMG, I know that SMGs are way better. They're way stronger up close. So I'm going to get closer to the enemy to utilize this easy to use weapon. So I think you kind of got these two things kind of working against each other. You got like the DMR rebalance. So like on one hand, they're thinking, oh, good, the DMR rebalance helped bring our engagement distance closer together, but also probably not. It's more like the SMG buff is helping bring the engagement distance down because people are more likely to get close range SMG engagements. So that's, I don't know, kind of the way I look at it. All right, let's take a look at their conclusion and then their future gameplay changes. DMR rebalance results. DMR usage rates have significantly decreased in normal and ranked. The influence of DMRs and snipers in the mid to late stages of the match has become similar, resulting in a healthy equilibrium across ARs, DMRs, snipers, and reflected in the damage power graphs. Average engagement distance has dropped noticeably, indicating a shift in the meta from long-range standoffs to closer, more aggressive engagements. Overall, we observed a clear shift in the gunplay meta, with weapon categories now showing more balanced distribution of influence and greater diversity. Okay. Including weapons balance between 5.56 and 7.62. I'll be interested to see how that's changed at all. They didn't show a 5.56 to 7.62 graph for the DMRs. I would be interested to see how much did the DMR percentage change for people who, let's say before this nerf, right? Before the DMR nerf, let's say you mained a Dragunov. Did your weapon pickup shift at all? Or did you always still pick up a Dragunov because the Dragunov was that kind of higher tier, slower firing already DMR? And then versus if you had a Mini 14, if you were a Mini 14 main before, did you switch off from a Mini 14? Yeah, I feel like that would be pretty good to see, to kind of realize which caliber was dominating. While DMR usage has dropped considerably for now, we expect it to gradually recover over time, which is what I was saying earlier, is that if you kind of zoom out a bit for a few months, people will get used to the new weapon type and go, okay, I can min-max it if I use it at this range or this meta, that kind of stuff. So min makes sense for what I would think. For the time being, our focus is on allowing players enough time to adapt to the new environment and carefully monitoring the meta as it stabilizes before reviewing individual weapon performance if necessary. I will say this. I don't think this is a good idea. And I don't think it's a good idea in that you shouldn't, in my opinion, need 30 days or more to really monitor how a weapon is performing or how a weapon class is performing. To me, I think these changes can be and should be more immediate. They've shown that they can do that in the past with things like the original Dragunov nerf. That was a very immediate change. So they've shown that they can, move on their toes and go, oh, well, this is pretty obvious. This is dumb. We need to change it, nerf it, buff it, whatever, and act on that. I don't think we need the community to experience something that they clearly aren't enjoying for 30 days or more before we make minor tweaks to it, Future gunplay updates. Naturally, as major changes take place in PUBG's gunplay ecosystem, new areas for adjustments have also emerged. SMGs have become more prominent following the DMR rebalance. Think about that. SMGs have become more prominent following the DMR rebalance. Why? Wouldn't the idea of a DMR rebalance be to level out who picks up a DMR over a sniper? Is the idea really to have people just fight close range at all times with an SMG instead of doing long range engagements? That seems a little odd to me. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoy long range fights in PUBG. Like, I got like close range fights too, of course, but I enjoy long range sniping. To me, that's a really fun mode, not mode, but really fun thing to do in a first person shooter. For detailed information and developer comments, refer to the update patch notes. We'll be going to that in a second. We also plan to take another look at Gunplay Labs, which has already been held several times, reviewing its operation methods and duration based on player feedback. Please, for the love of God, stop putting Gunplay Labs in its own like separate, stupid TPP only mode. Just simply put, if the change that you want to test is a weapon or attachment based change, put it in a TDM. That is the simplest thing you can do. We've said it a bajillion times. There's no need to load into a lobby, parachute, find a gun, find an attachment, test it out one time, get killed, respawn, find a lobby. No, this is ridiculous. Go to a TDM, instant respawn, instant revive. You can test all the things at once. Like, this should be a non-question. The fact that they are still reviewing its operation methods and durations. Like, this is nonsensical. Gunplay lies at the very core of PUBG. Gunplay lies at the very core of PUBG, and we understand how closely our players follow its evolution. We will continue to carefully observe the gunplay meta and how players engage in combat, constantly seeking ways to further improve the new experience. We'll see you in the next dev letter. All right, let me see your thoughts. Snipers have a 0 milliseconds time to kill, though. No. If you hit a headshot on a level 2, armor target, yeah, then you have an instant kill. But that's a very small window in terms of hitbox, and it's a slow fire rate, slower bullet velocity, less ammo in a magazine. I mean, there's so many things that go against a bolty. On a positive note, can we all agree that DBS is an excellent crate weapon? We all 100% love finding that one. I'm getting the sarcasm in that comment. And can I just say, for the bajillionth time, take the DBS back out of the crate. They put it back to a world spawn. It will need to be a little bit nerfed. I agree. Nerf it, reduce the rate of fire, reduce the damage per shot, put it back world spawn. Take the O12, put that into the crate, buff it, reduce screen shake, give it 60 rounds in the crate. So once you use all 60 rounds, you're done. And that is a proper fun crate weapon. Can be used close range, can be used fully auto, can be used single tap fire for mid range. It'd be really cool. Quite simply because of the pickup usage rate is what I would say. Why is there no VSS nerf? I think it's quite simple because not enough people picked it up to make a metric change in the data that they use. If PUBG could have the smooth movement Battlefield 6 has, it'd be a perfect game for me. Well, yeah, just a reminder, Battlefield is a brand new game. PUBG is 8 years old. So whenever PUBG 2 decides to come out, which at the last known time is 2027, Put M249 back to the crate. Did you know that there's a new heavy weapon coming this year? It could be a new LMG. Or it could be a sniper rifle. I don't know. SMGs need to be nerfed, much as DMRs, for the game to be balanced now. We'll see. Y'all want slide canceling in PUBG? No, it already is. It already exists. There's already people who like do that button combination to already exploit that. It needs to be removed. What's up, Butters? I don't know why everyone's asking me about Korea, dude. I don't fucking know. I'm in Southeast Louisiana. I have no idea. Another LMG, we don't know. The only thing that PUBG said, which was it's been a while since they said it, but it's in one of those dev announcements that we covered, like in the 2025 roadmap. The lead developer, Taehoon Kim, teased one of the questions, the community questions was, hey, what's the new what's like any new weapons coming? And he said a heavy weapon. Heavy weapon's gonna be coming. He didn't say LMG. He didn't say sniper rifle. He didn't say not rocket launcher. So anything heavy, think of that. That's what it could be. DMR rebalance recap. And I guess I'll just kind of give my thoughts TLDR in case you skipped to this end part. DMRs were nerfed pretty heavily. PUBG's looking at the data alone is what it seems like. They are happy with what the data shows. The data basically shows what they wanted to see. In their mind, DMR usage was up here. It's now somewhere down here. Sniper usage was here. It's now somewhere here to DMRs. And as a third-party result, SMG usage is, up here. But SMGs are getting nerfed, so maybe that'll come back down. Who knows? So if you're unhappy about the DMR nerf, the unfortunate news is I don't think you have any light at the end of the tunnel in terms of them reverting any of that anytime soon, based on what I just read. So that's kind of my TLDR on that.